Welcome back to Peace, Love and Tarot. This reading is for Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And Pisces, this is your 2020 yearly overview and what a year it's going to be. We actually have, to start off, a fairly calm first quarter for you. Around about your May or June, we do have quite a large completion or wake-up call or something happening there. And then towards, sort of the halfway mark into that third quarter, we have so much new beginning energy, new possibility, potential, and all some really beautiful energy here. There's just something to clear first. So interesting reading. Let's unpack it and see how it goes. Guys, what we have here is a Rider-Waite card for each month of the year, and we have that clarified, each card's clarified with a Star Child Tarot card. So we're going to start at January. We're going to head around in a clockwise position to December. And guys, I know you can't see the full table, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold up each pair as I read them so you'll be able to see them really clearly. So let's start with your January, guys. Sorry, I bumped the camera. I think it's okay. Yep. Okay, so kicking off the year, we have the Five of Swords and we have the Six of Wands. So I think this is quite classic of what we are seeing, in this transitional period as we close out that decade and we start another one. New year, new decade, all of that. There was a lot of dense energies being released and transmuted towards the end of 2019. And I really think that that's what this Five of Swords relates to. So Five of Swords could be a situation that you were releasing, in love, in the workplace, even in a friendship, that kind of thing. With the Five of Swords, it could be something that there was an element of toxicity about it, potentially harsh words, conflict, strife, arguments, that kind of thing. Now, what's interesting about both of these cards is that they are both victory cards, but that Five of Swords victory comes at a cost. And, it can be that sense of one-upmanship or almost fighting an opponent that couldn't defend themselves in that way. Whereas the Six of Wands is a card of, successful victory and achievement. So I really feel that there's been a switch in that energy. I feel like maybe you were the party that sort of wasn't engaging so much in that negativity, but has decided to move away from it with your head held high. That Six of Wands can be about somebody who's come out of a difficult chapter, a time of, a little bit of darkness, that kind of thing, but is riding through it with a sense of victory, with a sense of achievement, ready to take this Ace of Wands here and take the right action that is needed to move forward. And there's also that energy of being kind of publicly recognized. So I think maybe you were the bigger party that did the right thing here, and I think other people will see it as well. Either way, it is a victorious start to January 2020 and leaving some of that old energy behind. So let's go to your February, big reach. February, we have the Six of Crystals, which is the Six of Pentacles, and we have the Queen of Cups. This Pisces is all about you coming back into a place of emotional balance. It's about getting back into a place that you can not only give, but you can actually receive again. And that could be, receiving, being open to receive new friendships. It can be open to receive, love and that kind of thing. Because you might have come out of a period where you've had to kind of close down those energy centers a bit more, especially if you were engaged in, that sort of argumentative energy. Now, the Queen of Cups, no doubt this is probably you, Pisces. Now, the Queen of Cups, if you were to evoke that energy in February, it would look like, being emotionally intelligent. It would be getting in control of your emotions, not letting your emotions control you. So, this Queen of Cups, she holds her emotions in this beautiful gilded cup, and she chooses when she lets them out, when she processes them. They're not sort of out controlling her, and she can sit right on the shoreline of the emotional waters of life, because water represents emotions in the tarot, and she can stay grounded and stable and unshakable. So this is about you coming into that place. Maybe after the end of last year, it may not have been like that for you. And when you are, operating from a place of emotional self-mastery and intelligence, that's when you're in balance again. internally. And when you're in balance in your internal world, you start to reflect that in your external world with the people and the experiences that you attract. This really is that reflection of internal, external. So I feel like this is you getting into a good place again, being able to receive energy, love, compassion, all those kind of things. When in the past maybe you were more the giver and you didn't really get so much back. So in your March, we have the High Priestess and we have the Eight of Wands. So I'm strongly feeling that in March, some of you could actually receive some information that's going to change your game in some way. Because that Eight of Wands can be that message that comes through even electronic means, SMS, online, telephone call, that sort of thing that kind of comes out of the blue. And the High Priestess has the ability to reveal truths, reveal mysteries. So some of you might learn some news about a situation that in some way really shifts the game, because the Eight of Wands can also be swift change. There's an element of divinity about both of these cards as well. So look out for, the signs and symbols and those kind of things that the universe may be trying to show you. The High Priestess also asks you to tune into your intuition in March. So, look out for your gut feelings, the things you feel in your heart, the things that you just, have that sense of knowing to be true. And I think that may be confirmed with whatever this message is, or whatever you learn about a situation. Something's going to come out into the open in March. Okay, April, we have another Five of Swords, back to this again, and the Emperor. So in April, you might find yourself engaged again, once more, in that Five of Swords energy, which is that, that slight strife, that conflict, that feeling of being involved in that sort of one-upmanship type battle. Maybe someone's always trying to get the better of you, that kind of thing. But really, it's the kind of energy that is quite, it can sap your energy, is what I'm trying to say. So it's best to be the person that puts those swords down and retreats and doesn't kind of try and keep this battle going. So it could be arguments in the workplace, in love, that kind of thing. It's a victory that comes at a cost. So we really want to try and establish a win-win situation without engaging in that behavior. And you have that here with the Emperor, which is interesting, because I feel this is the energy that you need to evoke in order to not be in the Five of Swords. So the Emperor is somebody who is very, mature and dominant and grounded, knows when to stand their ground, knows when to retreat, and is doing so from a really calculated, logical, practical place. The Emperor is somebody who shapes their world and doesn't let their world shape them. So this is about you not engaging in this behavior, but instead having the foresight to make calculated decisions to move your life forward from the right place, rather than going into that kind of, sometimes when you're in a situation that starts to get stuck, or that there's going to be some movement in, that's when the conflict, that's when it rears its head. Okay, so in your May, we have the Tower and the Eight of Cups. Yeah, guys, so this is kind of the beginning of this completion that we see here. I feel that maybe that Five of Swords was the rumbling that is going to result in a Tower moment in the next month. So yeah, and I think this Tower moment is going to be the situation that, actually gives you the insight you need to move on from a situation that hasn't been emotionally fulfilling for you. So guys, that could be in a romantic situation, could be in a relationship where you've had a certain amount of common interests, common things, but there's been a few fundamental non-negotiables missing, or maybe just one. So it could be you've got great chemistry, and you get along well, but there's a fundamental value missing, maybe the way that you would raise children, and you just know that you can't probably have a harmonious relationship with that person. In the workplace, it might look like a great job with brilliant colleagues, but there's no kind of progression for you there, or the pay's not right. So it doesn't really matter you know, what you do, there's always that piece missing. It's like doing that jigsaw puzzle and getting down to the last part of the picture, and there's a couple of pieces missing, and you can never complete it, and you always feel that gap. So I feel like the Tower moment's going to happen, and it's going to have you walking on and leaving a situation that wasn't emotionally fulfilling. You're seeking that 9th cup. You don't just want to settle for 8 cups. So the Tower can feel chaotic. It can come, you know, as a big showdown or argument. It can just be a truth revealed, and it could be linked to this truth that comes out or this message that is received in March. It is the tearing down of some kind of construct, whether that's relationship or work or, you know, a past belief or something like that. And it is a blessing in disguise because it's the universe coming in to do so that you can get back on the path that you're truly meant to be on, because the situation is not a fit for you. That's what it's saying. It only took, you know, one bolt of lightning to bring it down. So that's what the Tower moment is, and it can feel quite chaotic, but we have to remember that it is a blessing. It's there to put us on our, you know, our path that we're supposed to be on. Okay, June. We have Judgment and the 3 of Crystals, which is the 3 of Pentacles. So this is what I would say, the last call of that situation. It's also the wake-up call. I think some of you might be seeing that situation that you're sort of walking away from and really realizing that it's kept you small, it's kept you confined and constricted, and you're now ready for bigger and better things in your life. You're now ready to hear the call of your higher self and get back on your life path and build new things, a new direction, manifest new possibilities for your life. Judgment can be the card of second chances. Is there anything to salvage from this situation? But if so, Pisces, you cannot rebuild the same tower. Otherwise, you find yourself 1 month, 6 months, a year down the track in the same position, but with lost time. So if you are, you know, thinking that you can reach a resolution with this personal situation, then you need to rebuild it from an entirely different place. So that would be, you know, if it's a relationship, probably going and getting counseling so you can really break down those stories and things that you held beliefs that you have about each other, so that's not going to be triggered again. Yeah, so judgment can be about forgiveness as well. It is that wake-up call, and it is that sense of you might feel quite vulnerable, because I feel like that Tower is going to really, it's going to expose something. It's going to make you feel probably like these people here. You've kind of, a situation is falling away, so you're feeling quite vulnerable and naked, and maybe not quite knowing what's in store for you next. 3 of Pentacles can be about new manifestations, building something new with people. I'm going to say, well, not rule it out that for some of you it could be a third-party situation that is somehow in the mix with this situation as well. But what I'm really feeling with that 3 of Crystals is that after this situation has been released, this is about you rebuilding something new, going back to that drawing board, making new plans for new beginnings in your life, and starting to do those initial manifestations. Okay, July. We have the 10 of Swords and the 4 of Wands. So I feel that for many of you, this is potentially the same situation, and this is when it comes to its hard close under that 10 of Swords. So some of you may have tried to hold on when that Tower came in, and when we do that, often it can lead to, you know, a painful ending with the 10 of Swords. But either way, this is really final closure, and it's final closure in a situation that links to our sense of stability and security. So yes, that can be in our relationships. It can also, I guess, link to the way that we earn our money, because that affects our ability to build a happy home and to build that sense of security for ourselves. So in July, you know, we do have that 10 of Swords. It can feel, you know, quite an overwhelming ending. There can be a sense of fatigue, loss of energy. There can even be a betrayal here, guys. So, you know, we do have that happening, but what we need to keep in mind is that this is clearing energetic space for all these beautiful energies with strong new beginning that's coming in. And we have the Empress and we have the Fool, guys. So I really feel that universally there is something that is supposed to come in for you, but an old chapter needed to close first. And yeah, that can be painful. There can be deep hurts with that Ten of Swords, but I really need to keep the greater perspective in mind. Because in August, the Empress comes bursting through. And she comes in with the Three of Cups, guys. And Three of Cups is about, more light-hearted energy. It's about celebration. It's about now being able to celebrate the new harvest, that, the change that has started to rumble for you guys in the first half of the year. There's a sense of celebration of the completion of the achievement. So things are going to really switch up. And we have the Empress here. Number 3 and number 3. This is about new manifestations. This is that sliding door and that new beginning. The Empress is the biggest card of possibility, of birthing new possibilities or birthing your manifestations into the physical, tangible realm. So what is it that you desire, Pisces? Is it a new relationship? It could go the distance, and even, children, all of that sort of thing. Is it a new job? Is it a new home? Is it a new best friend? Whatever it is you desire, do some manifestations this month, because the Empress is ready to bring that to you. She is fertile with that sense of abundance. And she also talks about connecting with the cycles of nature, and the Three of Cups talks about reaping that harvest and celebrating that. So she is saying, whatever seeds you plant here in August, I think in your next season, which may not be too far away, you are going to be celebrating that harvest and you're going to be reaping the rewards. September, King of Pentacles and the Universe. So we have had a lot of completion energy over here in this corner, and now we have the Universe, which is the World card, and the King of Pentacles. So I'm really thinking that rather than the completion, this is kind of the new beginning energy, but it also signifies that the karmic contract, definitely linked to that past situation that you've released, is now complete, and you are ready to dance on through into the next chapter for you. And the next chapter has the promise of being abundant. I mean, if that Empress was saying plant those seeds, do those manifestations, dream big, the King of Pentacles says, yeah, this is going to start expanding into real abundance pretty quickly, right? As long as you know that, it's time to tie up the loose ends from that past karmic contract, realize now that, you're going into a whole new chapter. The World or the Universe card talks about great victory, and that you've arrived, and you've definitely arrived at a big turning point here, a big crossroads, because we're about to go into full energy. You might be feeling financially abundant in this month of September, because the King of Pentacles is somebody who's really mastered that kind of manifestation process and knows how to continuously achieve great physical material abundance in his world. He holds the Ace of Pentacles too here, which for me, together with that Universe card, is a reminder to keep planting new seeds, especially now when you're on this crossroads, because that's going to grow and expand quickly for you. So I really feel that is the shift. This is you stepping in to that new beginning, which just carries on here. We are in October. We have the Four of Wands and the Fool. So we have, this is interesting, guys, because if we look back here, and I think it was July, we had the Four of Wands with the Ten of Swords, a huge completion in the home front, or the sense of security and stability. Now we have the Four of Wands with the Fool, a huge beginning in the realm of home, stability and security, right? What you feel like you might have lost back here, you're going to be gaining again. with a whole new sense of renewal, surrounded by other beautiful cards of beginning and possibility. So if you feel that when you're going through that completion that you're really losing something, you have to keep this in mind. With every ending comes a new beginning, and the Fool and the Empress are the biggest promises of that. The Fool is about taking that leap of faith and trusting the new path that you start to walk after being at that crossroads, even though you don't necessarily know where it's leading, or you don't know what the destination is going to be. And yes, there's going to be mountains to scale along the way, there always is, but know that this is a divinely guided new path for you that potentially is going to lead to your best life, to having the beautiful home, having the sense of security, being stable, like the four sides of a square. Maybe even marriage and engagement does link to this card as well. There's also, with that Four of Wands, the 11-11 formation. So this is kind of a synchronistic thing. There's definitely strong divinity throughout your whole year, and it is meant to be. So we need to keep that in mind. It's about making instinctual decisions for yourself to keep a sure footing along the way, carrying just limited baggage if you can. The Fool also talks about reconnecting with your rebel heart. So, you're now looking at pursuing things and relationships and jobs, all those big factors in life that are aligned with who you really are, right? So this is about you getting into alignment with your higher self, living from a place of passion and purpose, so you can find deep fulfillment in your life that you've been seeking and what you may not have achieved in that past situation. Just checking the time, guys. We've got a little bit of time before the camera cuts out. So in November, oh, beautiful. Okay, we have the Magician. I forgot that came out with the Six of Swords. The Magician is that reminder, guys, that you can create anything you want for your future. The Magician is, that he's the biggest manifester, right? And there is also that sense of as above, so below. So this talks about getting yourself in the right place internally so that you can then attract the same kind of experience into your life externally. Because our external world is an indication of our internal world. But this is also you realizing that you have all the tools that you need in order to move on and move towards the future that you truly desire. Because that Six of Swords, can be a necessary rite of passage. There might be something else that you need to move on from in the month of November to get to a place that's more peaceful, that's more harmonious for you. I think there's also going to be great growth for you in this situation. And you might be leaving a time where things were a bit more, rocky or tumultuous. The Six of Swords also talks about leaving the baggage or the negativity or the thoughts, all of those things on the shoreline so that you can carry on with an empty vessel. The Fool has the same kind of message. So this could be a little bit of a hangover from this past situation that, you might just need to, there might be an element of it that you haven't let go of or you haven't moved on from, and you're being called to really complete that in November and to tune into the Magician energy and realize you can recreate yourself, your life, and you have all the tools that you need to make that happen. December. Oh, okay, interesting. We have the same card repeated, guys. We have the Six of Swords again, and we have the Page of Swords. But I'm strongly feeling that this Six of Swords in November is the moving on from something, and this Six of Swords is moving towards something better. Because the Page of Swords also is that wind of change card. He is the beginning, as an energy, is the beginning of progress. It's about that wind blowing the other direction and now being able to move into a new future. I mean, we can see that was all rumbling here for you. In December, I really feel that you make a final move on towards a new destination, a new relationship, new job, a new chapter for you. And it is destined. We have strong cards of destiny here. There could be a younger air sign, so Gemini, Libra or Aquarius in the mix that somehow has something to do with this new journey. But either way, we see you in December making a final move towards something which, again, similar to the full energy, we've got all this mist and smoke. I don't think you're necessarily going to know where you're headed, but I think you'll have a strong sense that you're heading somewhere, much greater. I mean, for in this January, December, November, we've got all number sixes, which is the number of harmony and growth. I think you've had great growth this year, and it's been through, going through those harder times and getting that growth that is leading you to a place of internal harmony, of peace. And from that place, that's when change comes in, and that's when you can start moving towards your best life and attracting like experiences towards you. So Pisces, that's what I have for you. It's going to be a big year, lots of transformative energies here. So I'm wishing you all the best with that. Keep in mind it's a general reading, so not every Pisces is going to have a year playing out like this. And of course, we have free will, guys. We have free will to change anything because we are that magician. We are the co-creator of our universe. Feel free to leave me a comment if you'd like to let me know how the year kicks off for you, because I always love to hear it. And I'll see you guys throughout the year for plenty of weekly and monthly readings.